Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a great day and a great night. And today we'll study and redesign more Concord characters. This is Pro Artist Fixes Concord Designs Part 3, The Dark Side of the Moon. But first, did you know I have a Discord server where you can commission me?
Please guys, would you please commission me? I need money!
You can also send your art for me to critique for free. We could learn together to make better art. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and sub, and if you want me to take a look at other characters from other franchises, leave it in the comments. Hey, third time's the charm, right? Who am I kidding? This is Concord we're talking about. Here comes the new challengers. Mr. Michael Concord.
Yes, indeed.
Humanoid cheddar fungus.
Fight is one.
Generic mean Asian girl number 345. Space Wrangle with a life jacket and super AIDS. Man, they did my boy Jabali dirty, man. He's just Michael Concord. He has one of the better design looks in the game in my opinion, but it's not good enough. His whole theme is that all of his stuff heat sinks and he's a support and healer. But you wouldn't know that. Maybe you could have guessed that based on his coat color, which resembles a peaceful tone. He's got so much potential with that hat and glasses, but it just doesn't hit right. So many characters are extremely iconic because of their big ass hats, like Alucard from Hellsing, Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat, and most recently Infernus from Deadlock, even though his hat is normal sized. Have you ever heard the meme, the bigger the hat, the better the witch? We'll capitalize on that. We will also make it more clear what are his sources of power. He can triple jump, he has a pulse-guided seeker rifle which, yeah, like I said, it heat sinks to the closest enemy. He has a life pulse, which is basically just an orb that he throws and then it attaches to an ally, and then it heals everyone around that ally. He has a damage orb, which is the hunter orb, and it just deals damage, that's it. It's very fucking boring. What can we do to improve? Like, Jabali doesn't really have a theme going on. He's a healer with some damage. He very much resembles Zenyatta from Overwatch, but doesn't have the flare. In his gameplay showcase, he says some generic line like, "Found my rhythm." For some reason that felt like it could resonate with him, so I turned him into a character specialized in waves, positive and negative. I made his head a little larger. I turned his antennas on his head into a sort of wave emitter to fit with the wave rhythm motif. His coat looked very much like a weird lab coat, but to me it didn't really mesh well with him, so I changed its design to a futuristic suit decorated with gold. I designed it to have these giant holes in the sides to give it a cooler aesthetic and to give space to carry the orbs and to accentuate the waves and circles vibe. I made his pants larger because he seems like a chill guy, so the more casual or laid back design enhances it. Bro, I thought he was bald. I thought he was bald, but he actually has just his hair tied back. I think he has a cool haircut, but it was too muted, so I just exaggerated the size to make it more clear he has hair and to make him more distinguishable. The gun wasn't much altered, and I made his orbs visible as his equipment. I also made him hold one open orb, just for fun. This is how I would redesign Jabali. Lark is a fungus creature that has undecided pronouns, the body of a woman, and the voice of a man. I don't know if this is some sort of virtual signaling or something like that. It doesn't matter actually, I don't care. But it does not look good.
To be very clear, I have nothing against the LGBTQ+ community. I love you all, guys.
They had freedom to do insanely cool stuff with the mushroom theme, but they just made a creepy and boring design. They also have a fucking spork? Why? Anyways, Lark looks like an amalgamation of 3 different characters in the worst way possible. The top half is very fungal cheese, yellow, The lower half is reptilian, animal-like, all of this while being armed with a very unintuitive gun that shoots spores? Do the spores come from Lark? Mushroom powers? What? This is not good at all. I'll have to go like turbo mode. Lark has double jump, faster reload next to a spore. Lark can transplant or teleport to a deployed plant. Lark also has a bubble shield, or at least an aura that Lark drops in the ground. What can we do to improve? When I was taking a look at Lark, I actually went researching to better understand the role of mushrooms and how they behave, like how they communicate with an underground network using electrical pulses and shit, and how there's way more types of mushroom than I remembered. I started questioning, why would a mushroom or a fungus become humanoid? Why did the...
We are Lark. We're not about your human concepts.
Yeah, I took the Venom approach and made Lark a colony of mushrooms and fungus, and that developed a symbiotic relationship with the carcass. Here's Lark's new lore. After an unknown war, the androids that were destroyed or malfunctioning were dropped in a nearby cliff, together with the corpses of the enemy. A pile of junk and gore was formed in the swamp below. After some time, nature overtook the metal scraps, and in the middle of that pool of steel, an android was kept in somewhat reasonable condition. The fungus took a liking of the skeleton of iron and made it their new home. The mushrooms eventually found an emergency battery inside and accidentally activated the manual reboot protocol. A surge of electricity supercharged the fungus, which overgrew exponentially. The android's AI was very confused. They were reawakened, but were no longer the same. The entirety of its circuitry, mobility, and combat functions were intertwined with the colony. This new being wasn't an individual no more, but the miracle of life brought by the connection of many. Thus, Lark were born. I don't even have that much to explain, it's just the body of an android mixed with many fungus. The right hand has a highly concentrated enzyme launcher that deals damage over time. Just like the mushrooms, they digest their prey outside their bodies. If Lark kills an enemy with this, they can consume their body to heal a small portion of their HP. The left hand has the teleport fungus, which shoots spores that grow extremely fast. I also tried to keep the overall shape, colors, somewhat of the clothing and ribbons. This is how I would redesign Lark. Unfucking believable. They did it, guys. They did the meme. Generic Asian girl which is sassy and a little mean. They only missed the dyed hair strand. Fucking hell. Come on chat, tell me what y'all think she does. If you guessed that she shoots those metal balls from her rosary with her crossbow, you'd be half correct. She's actually a goddamn firebender. She just uses the crossbow to further launch her fireball, which is kinda clever. But did you know she can fly? Oh silly old me, how could you know that? Her concept is simple and very easy to expand upon, but we need to fix her colors and clothing. Jesus. She can hover in the air dodge, she can shoot using her crossbow, she has a flashbang basically and a wall of fire that she just throws like a fucking grenade in the ground. I don't know why that magic has a curve like an arc, but it does have. What can we do to improve? She looks so fucking bored, like she didn't even want to be here. So I did some slight changes to her expression and completely rebuilt her pose. I made her fly just like Duchess to make it look more magical and imposing. In her new lore, she's a disciple of Duchess. That's why she has a hairpin with a similar motif as her master. But since she is not experienced and powerful, it is not a big ass floating crown. In-game, she actually has a very millennial, quirky personality, so I tried to capitalize on that. Since she didn't resonate with the old ways of being quiet and reserved, she tailored a new robe which is lighter and lets her move more freely. That's why I added the cleavage. It's actually not fan service, but it can be if you want. I also kept the sneakers to contrast the ancient magic theme to the modern society stuff. The tight suit was actually there before, just solely on the upper body and below the coat. I gave her some pouches and a magical book where she writes down magical stuff. I trashed the crossbow, she doesn't need it, she's a fucking wizard, Harry. But I kept the metal balls, mostly to make her more interesting, like, I don't know, it's just there, it looks cool. I also kept the rosary and some of the needlework on the coat's arms. I made her hair longer to make it wavy and fiery. I kept the magic wrapping around her arms, kinda like I did with Duchess. This is how I would redesign Haymar. Gosh darn damn, sweet baby Jesus Martha, if it isn't Billy Concord, Galaxy's fastest gunslinger in the flesh. Man, fuck off, man. This is one of the poster children of the game, but he looks so bad. Why did they turn the coat into a fucking space life jacket? He's from a race of lizard people, but they made him extremely uncanny. Weird spikes and scales on his elbows, and some boring ass color scheme. He has 2 guns, 2 revolvers. One is more precise mid to long range, and the other is a fast firing close range delete button. Or it should be. He's the fastest guns in the wilds. But even at max fire rate, the weapon seemed too slow for that title. He has an exploding knife that he at least carries on his back. It's not just like he doesn't grab it out of his ass like some characters do with other abilities. He can also heal because of space lizard magic, and I've been thinking about how I'd reimagine him. And I think I'll cook pretty hard. He has a double jump, he reloads his weapons during his dodge. Like I said, he has 2 revolvers, exploding knife, and a healing, a very simple healing. What can we do to improve? Okay, first of all, this took 10 fucking hours to complete. All of the other 3 took around 5 hours. I really tried my best here, and I think y'all gonna be loving it. Well, I hope so. For the first time in this series, I didn't keep anything from the original image. This is 100% made by me. I took inspiration from Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Clint Eastwood, Jetstream Sam from Metal Gear Rising, Graves from League of Legends, and McCree from Overwatch. I don't care if people call him Cassidy. His new lore is as follows. Lennox is the son of a sheriff, of a small town, of a small planet. Ever since he was a kid, he loved guns and admired his dad. He was his hero. He wanted to be a sheriff himself one day, and his father was very happy for his son. During an unfortunate sequence of events, Lennox's dad was killed in action, but the blame was wrongfully put on him. Lennox was taken to prison, but during his imprisonment, he managed to escape. He was 15 when he left his hometown, accompanied only by his dad's hat and poncho, and his old sheriff badge. He then became an outlaw, doing awful jobs to survive. He swore to find out who framed him and avenge him and his father. Alright, there's a lot, so here we go. He now has these guns. His main weapon, the Problem Solver, a big iron. It is a 3-shot revolver that has a medium fire rate, but it uses comically large rounds. Very deadly. He stole this from a client who didn't pay the agreed amount for a dangerous service. His secondary weapon, the old reliable 6-shooter. It can fire at ludicrous speed, but the damage falls off at longer ranges. His exploding knife was very boring, so I spiced it up. To keep the bullet gun exploding theme, I took inspiration from Jetstream Sam's Muramasa, a blade with a magazine attached to the holster, which when fired violently boosts the weapon forward, allowing for a devastating attack. In Lennox's case, he uses the boost to launch the blade, which explodes on impact. It was very expensive, he bought it from a black market manufacturer. It also has teleportation technology, so the blade is automatically retrieved back to the holster after a few seconds of being launched and exploding. I gave him a cool poncho, cowboy hat, and a water bag. He was obsessed with hot sauce in the trailer, so I put a little bottle next to the old reliable revolver. Oh, he also has a tail now. To make his healing a little more apparent, I put some magical green veins on his left arm. This is how I would redesign Lennox. So chat, what did we learn?
Eating your veggies is always faster than switching to a pistol.
This one took so long, man. Holy shit. Please share it with your friends and if possible commission me. I need money. Please, I need money. Anyways, this has been Zato Tech Noir and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment and subscribe. And let's drink some water, dude.